Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. And today, with me I have two very amazing people. Both of them, to their skill, dedication, and hard work, have proved to the world that they are capable of many things, and there's simply nothing stopping them from achieving what they want. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me to welcome Soundarya and Prachurya Pradhan, two international chess players. Personally, these two people have inspired me a lot, which is why I would like to give a brief introduction of their achievements. Soundarya is an Asian Para Games silver medalist, junior silver medalist, and Asian bronze medalist. Prachurya is also an Asian Para Games silver medalist, national champion, as well as a chess coach. I welcome you two to the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Glad to be
Namaste.
here.
So, on this channel, like I have seen people have many questions, and because this channel is all about inclusion. So I just wanted to discuss a couple of those questions because before I had my teachers who give their own standpoint, but like there's also our own personal experience when people get to hear from others who've gotten through that, and you guys have much more experience than I do because I'm still like in school and you guys have achieved so much. So I just wanted to interact and kind of get your views on certain things, and so that the public is more convinced and confident about inclusion and how it works. So first, tell us like something about your childhood, from an inclusion standpoint. How was it?
Yeah.
So yeah, me and Soundarya were born blind, and I was born in 1997. So when I was born, I was the first child of my parents, and it must have been very difficult for them to accept the fact that their first son is blind. And after 2.5 years, Soundarya was born, and when you know uh, he was also found to be blind. It must have been very difficult for them. So you know they first uh, admitted us in a normal school, sighted school, and after some years they realized that it is not possible to continue further because we had a little bit of vision at that point of time. But when uh, after some years, the letters were becoming little in the textbook, and
Smaller.
it was very difficult for us to read them. Then we were admitted to a blind school, and we studied there for some years. And after that, after we had a preliminary education, when I was in class 8th, I had completed class 8th. Uh, Me and Soundarya both were brought back home, and here we had education plus we had access to computer. So we if talking about chess, in 2003 or so, I was introduced to chess, and I was a small child at that time. But I never got formal coaching or something for around 7 to 8 years. And when I played a tournament in Bhubaneswar, it was the Odisha State Chess Championship, and I became the champion there. After that, chess was taken seriously as a career option in our family. And me and Soundarya, because my family is a chess family, and my uncle has represented our state 4 times in the National B Chess Championship, which is the main chess event in India. So he taught us, and from 2010 onwards, we have been playing chess seriously, and we compete in in blind tournaments as well as in sighted tournaments. And we both have international rating now.
Yeah.
All right.
And so the first part, when we were in a blind school, as he said, in Bhubaneswar, talking about inclusion, I would say that's a situation where it's far from inclusion. It's more like an exclusion inside a blind society, because um, being a student of a blind school, I can say that there even I would say was different were different communities between the totally blind and the partially blind students. So
Yeah.
that is how excluded the society is from each other. Uh, so I think it's either you completely include yourself in the society, or you have to find your own way, uh, even if there is another person who is facing similar problems. So the inclusion in our life started, let's say, uh, when I was in class 5 and my brother was in 8, when we came back to our village and studied in a general school, and we used laptops and mobiles, and access technology. And plus that is when we started playing chess very seriously.
And I would like to add to that. We, you know, gained that confidence after coming back from Bhubaneswar, because when we were in Bhubaneswar, it was just a circle, and you had to compete in that. You had to compete with some 15 to 20 students of your class. And when I came back home, there was no limit. The sky was the limit, and me and Soundarya got to compete with anyone of our age, everyone of our
Yeah, yeah.
age group. So after that, it
So
became
before,
very
your competition is
easy.
limited to
Yeah,
blind people only.
and we were admitted in a general school, and after when the result came, it turned out that me and Soundarya both topped in our own respective class.
Wow.
Yeah. In fact, my brother had scored 90.5% in his 10th, which is in Odisha State Board, a very good score. And in fact, he had topped the entire block. Uh,
Wow.
there must
And third
be
in the district.
a dozen of schools, I think, in the block.
Hmm.
Yeah, it is the highest ever till now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So, people often have trouble participating in co-curricular activities. Like I had this challenge for quite a bit too, because people are hesitant to include you many a times. So, like, for example, sports. Sports is one of the main one. So, how did you get around challenge, and so like, how did you basically get introduced to chess?
I think how we came to chess is not really very much about inclusion. So I'll give you a very short answer about that. Um, as my brother said, our family is a chess family. Everybody plays chess, right? My uncle is a strong chess player, and he introduced chess to our family. Sports, there was inclusion issues in getting admission to a school. So I think, yeah, my brother again is going to speak about that, because at first he was
Yeah.
denied admission just because he was blind.
Yeah. So if we talk about that, when I was in the blind school, everything was fine. But when our parents decided to take us back from there and, admit us in a school, in a general school. So they approached a school of our locality, which is a government school, and they initially agreed. So when my transfer certificate was issued from Bhubaneswar, the blind school, then my father called the school in which I was supposed to take the admission, and they said, "Sorry, we are not able to do this for you anymore because we don't have specialized teachers and things like that." So they had some excuses, at that point of time. But already the CLC, the TC has already been, taken from that school, so it was irreversible. So still I
Yeah, we
came
are like
back and,
schoolless at that point.
yeah. So uh, finally, one school agreed, which was around 5 kilometers away from my home. So finally, luckily, I got the admission in a school, but a school which was in walking distance, declined me. But still, when I, passed my matriculation with, 90.5%, they was the first one to come to our home, and they said that we are sorry that you know, we did not have you in our school, but we would like to take Soundarya in our school.
Yeah.
So
So when he studied in the other school 5 kilometers away, I was also studying in an upper primary school 5 kilometers away, and they said that no, we want Soundarya to study in our school. And at that point, there are two significant achievements, I would say. My brother scored 90.5% in his examination, and I was a 13-year kid who played in Spain. Uh, it was the World Team Chess Championship for the blind. So I played for the India team, and it was a senior championship, mind you, and I was 13. And I was the youngest, not only in the Indian team, but in the entire tournament. And so I would say the chess has helped us to create an image in the society, and that image has helped us a lot.
So, were there any like particular challenges, like after you realize that you're pursuing and then you started competing? What were there any kind of challenges? I mean, of course there would be some challenges. So, like, can you tell us a little bit about what kind of struggles you had to go through when you were actually started, when you started competing?
One of the challenges that we face in chess is that till now, till very recently, the chess clocks that we used were not accessible. But the biggest problem that we face, and we faced especially when we started chess, was a lack of accessible material.
Mm.
There is really no accessible material. Uh, there are some things that we can use, some tricks to use. That's what we do. But uh, like you need to be very proficient technically to be able to do that. And even there are limitations to as to how many uh, you know how much of material you can find in accessible format. That's very less, I would say. So material is a very big problem. And as we grew proficient in using the computer, then we started using softwares like chessbase and fritz. Of course, they're not completely accessible, but as I said, you can do a few tricks. Since many of the audience might be blind persons watching, so I can say that you'll have to use the JAWS cursor if you're using JAWS several times. NVDA simply doesn't work. Object navigation helps, but there is no way to get NVDA to pronounce what move has been played in a software like Chessbase or Fritz yet. That is how inaccessible a situation is. Yeah, I think this is the biggest problem that I've faced. Of course, there are much more, but this is, I think, by far the biggest problem that I've faced and have been facing.
So, lastly, this question is asked, like many people are curious about this one, is what do you think, we as blind people should expect from our sighted counterparts? And what should they expect in return? Like, basically, like, what's your advice for everybody to be more inclusive towards one another?
I think the first thing that we need to expect
or probably we should expect this only thing as blind persons, is that we are not denied before being seen. In the sense, the school that denied my brother admission had not really considered anything. They just felt that it's not going to work, and they did not allow him admission. But I studied in the same school, and it all worked very well. So, and why did it work well? Because they allowed me to study in there. So I think it's a matter of mindset. I mean, don't say no before you see. And then I think once you join in, solutions are found. It happens. So solutions can be found. Sometimes they're very complicated, sometimes they're easy. But the first step is always to not say no before you know. And what the society should expect from us, what the sighted counterpart should expect from us, is definitely that we respect what they're doing. I mean, if a school allows you to study in there, whereas all other schools are denying the same school, denying the same child, then you also have a responsibility to do well, and so that nobody laughs at your school in the future. You need to prove their decision right. So I think there is some responsibility from both sides.
Yeah, so I think this reminds me of a statement that I, encountered uh, somewhere, that it was written that the blind people need opportunities and not sympathy. In this world, we don't want sympathy, we want opportunities. That's one thing. And what they should expect from us in returns, they should expect from us the same things that they expect from the person sitting next to them. I mean, if a sighted person is able to do things when given the opportunity, so can we.
Yeah,
Mm, yeah.
there is always some expectation, and I think I want to add to that a little bit. Like, speaking about accessibility of softwares, for example, you can see that many basic softwares like Microsoft Word are very much accessible. But let's say there is no foolproof software which works for mathematics, right? Why is that so?
Right.
I think this is because majority of people simply do not think that a blind person can do this. See, for example, any major compiler, let's say, I'm talking about programming now, VS Code, it's accessible. Visual
Hmm.
Studio, it's accessible. But the ones that are very specific, let's say when you go into web development, then you say Postman not accessible. Why is that? Because simply there's a lack of awareness. They don't think that a blind person can code, or they can design. So I think this attitude of saying no has to go.
Exactly. All right. Thank you so much for giving me your time, and I actually learned a lot from you guys, as I usually do, like every day pretty much, and try to follow in your footsteps. And I hope this video is also useful for the rest of you who are listening, and you got to learn as much as I did, hopefully more than what I did. Um, and I hope you enjoy. And if there's any feedback, as always, it's welcome, always welcome in the comments. Please write what you think about this, what you got to learn, and so thank
Thank you
you.
very much. Thank you very much for having us
Thanks.
here.
Yeah.
We enjoyed a lot.
And so there you have it, guys, and I will see you all next time. Thanks for watching. Be safe. Take care of yourself as well as others around you, and stay inclusive. I'll see you all next time.